Our first question comes from Mark Raimondi with MMAfighting.com. Please go ahead.
Hey guys, how's everyone doing?
Hi, we good.
First question, great. First question is for Holly. Ronda said the other day at her media day in LA that she didn't think that you'd be comfortable with the spotlight that comes with being champion, and she feels like that maybe you'd enjoy your life better if you were not champion, that you didn't have that spotlight. Do you have any response to that? Is there any truth to that, do you think?
Well, my preference is to just train and fight. I mean, I think the only way that you get to this point in a career is by being passionate about what you do. So, yeah, my number one thing is being passionate about training. But I'm willing to, take whatever comes with it. So I'll be, just kind of take it as it goes.
Also for Holly, Ronda has spoken a little bit about boxing lately. She was on Ring Magazine this month. When you see her fight and you see her stand-up ability, do you think that she'd be able to succeed in boxing as well as MMA? Do you think she'd be a good boxer?
I feel like she has good work ethic, and I feel like she has, the will to want to, do well and to succeed with it. So I feel like if she ever was to do boxing, she'd put the correct time and work into it. It's a whole different world and a whole different game, just as MMA is to boxing, just as, even, judo is different than MMA. There's a lot going on that's not the same in every sport. So I think that if she ever wanted to go that route, I know that she has will and drive to want to push herself. So if she ever wanted to do that, I wish her the best with it.
Thanks, Alice. I wanted to go to Valerie now. Valerie, you're fighting for the title, and you have to hit 115 pounds to make the title fight, which you haven't done before. I know you've made 116. Are you confident that you'll get down to that 115 for title fight?
There's no doubt I'm going to do it. I know it's not going to be easy, but there's no doubt I'm going to do it. Of course, I'm not going to miss my chance at the title for 1 more pound to lose. But my weight cut is going a lot better than the 2 first one, and I think we just improve fight after fight. So I should make it easier.
Great. And one for Ronda. Ronda, I know you're trying to focus and only speak about stuff that's happening inside the octagon training and all that. But recently, Travis Brown kind of announced that you guys were in a relationship. Were you okay with him announcing that? Was that also your were you cool with that? Hello?
Hello?
And I'm sorry, it looks like Ronda's line is just disconnected. And we will call her right back. Just one moment. And we will take the next question from Rick Mace with Washington Post.
Yeah, is Ronda back on the line?
We are trying to get Ronda back now.
Okay, you might want to go to another questioner then.
Thank you. And we'll go next to Jamie Patteram with News Corp Australia.
I also have questions for Ronda, so I'll just wait till she's back on the line. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. And everyone, we are still trying to get Ronda back on. Please stand by. And ladies and gentlemen, if you only have a question for Ronda, you can press *2 to remove yourself from the queue. If you do have questions for any of the other ladies, please stay in queue. Again, that's star 2 to remove yourself from queue, and star 1 for questions. We'll take a question from Jeffrey Harris with 411 Mania.
Thank you very much for joining us today. My first question is for Yanna. Yanna, this is only, I think, your 5th UFC fight. What's it like to be a part of one of the biggest cards in the history of history and getting to be in a title co-main event opposite Ronda Rousey? Did you ever dream something like this could happen to you?
Of course, I was dreaming about. I'm very happy. Like I said so many times, that I'm very happy that I can be part of UFC, that I became UFC fighter, and that I became UFC champion. And you know, it's a pretty big deal for me, for Ronda, for all of us. And I'm very happy that I can fight on the same card with Ronda. You know, my fight in Berlin in June was a main event fight, so. I know Ronda is simply the best, so I'm happy that I have come even fight before her main fight, you know, on this card. So I'm very happy. It's a really big deal for me. I'm training so hard, so I will put on show November 14.
Your opponent, Valerie Letourneau, will probably have a slight size and reach advantage over you. Do you think that makes her a more complex challenge than some of your other opponents before?
What the question is?
Since Valerie is, will have a slight size and reach advantage over you, do you think that makes her a more complex challenge than some of your previous opponents in the UFC?
What do you mean, like?
Because she has a longer reach than you. Have you had to adjust your training because of that?
No, I'm training the same, you know. She deserves it to fight for this title, you know. And I'm happy that I'm gonna face Valerie, but you know, I'm doing my things.
And for Valerie, what's it like for you to get to be a part of this title fight on such a huge card, which is likely going to draw like probably one of the biggest crowds we've ever seen in the sport?
Everything about that fight is so exciting for me. It's many dreams come true, fighting on the same card as Ronda, fighting in Australia, fighting for the title, fighting Yanna. Everything is such a big motivation for me. I just feel awesome. I'm just so happy to have the chance to go through this, and it's the best moment of my life.
And for Holm, another big part of the sport, besides the physical and training aspect, is also the mental aspect. When you're a part of such a huge fight like this, do you have to go through any type of mental training or preparation with your coaches to get ready for a fight like this?
Absolutely. I think the mental part of the game is the biggest. But, I'm almost, when I first hear about a fight, I almost have more nerves then than I do the closer to a fight. Because the closer to a fight, the more work I put in, the more confident I feel. So there's a whole process. It's not just physically getting ready for a fight, but it's mentally getting ready for a fight. The closer you get, the more confident you feel, the better with your game plan. Everything just kind of comes together. So there's a lot of mental going into a fight, in every fight. And obviously this is on a really big scale, but I want to win every fight I have, not just this one. I want to win all of them. And with that comes everything. Yeah, it's mentally challenging. It's physically challenging. So yeah, it's all a whole package.
Now, for Yanna champion again, what do you make of Valerie's performances in the UFC so far, and what do you think of her run up to this title challenge against you?
Could you repeat, because the connection is very bad?
I'm very sorry. What did you think of Valerie's performances in the UFC before and her run up to this title challenge?
I honestly, I watched her last fight against Marina Moros, and she did very well. She almost knocked her out in the first round. So I supposed to beat Valerie for what she did in Krakow. You know, she just had a big mouth, and but she wasn't ready for a fight with me. So Valerie just beat her in last fight. So she did well. You know, she's very good striker, and I'm happy that I gonna face Valerie. You know, before she did very well. So she's the right person. You know.
And Valerie, your response to Joanna saying you're not ready for her?
Maybe she's gonna have a bad surprise on November 14th. I mean, I feel like I improved from my fight from Jessica Rakoczy to Moroz, but I feel like I improved 10 times more already between my fight from Moroz to now. So I just can't wait to put it all there and to show what I'm capable of, and I just hope I'm going to be able to put everything I've been working on in that fight.
Thank you very much, and good luck to everyone in your fights.
Well, one more. Can I say something? But I'm not Marina Morris, and I'm not Rakoczy. You know, I'm Yanna champion. I know you're a great fighter, Joanna. There's no doubt about it. Good. That's good. Yeah. All right. Keep it in your mind.
All right, guys.
Don't worry about that.
Guys, this is Dave Scholar jumping in.
I know you're afraid already.
Guys, this is Dave Scholar jumping in.
I know. We probably tried to come.
Wanted to let you know that we are continuing to work on getting Ronda's line reconnected. We are currently experiencing a technical difficulty. In the interim, we'll continue to take questions for Joanna, Valerie, and Holly. And we will take our next question from Alex Artis with the Herald Sun. Alex, your line is now open.
Good. Well, it's good morning from me over here. It's Alex Oates from the Herald Sun. This is a good question for any three of the girls. You can jump in and answer it at any time. I'm just interested in when you're going to land in Australia and what your plans and preparations will be when you get here, like where you're going to base yourselves and what your training will be.
I didn't understand that question.
When are you going to arrive in Australia, and what will you be doing when you get here? Like, what sort of, is it a matter of tapering your training down or ramping it up, etc.? You know, give us a snapshot of what your training will be like once you arrive here.
That was for me or for all the girls, the question? For Valerie?
Yeah, for any of the girls. Anyone can jump in, yes.
Well, I'm going there. I'm leaving on Monday, so personally, I'm just going to keep on track. I feel awesome right now. I just want to be injury-free and just keep going and feel exactly how I feel right now. So I'm going to keep, staying in shape, cutting my weight, and be ready for. I'm going to be 10 days. I'm going to be there 10 days before the fight.
Thank you.
I'll be getting there. I leave Friday, landing there Sunday morning, so I'll be there 7 days prior. I just wanted to finish my whole camp here and just taper down my workout when I get there. So I'll be there Sunday, 1 week prior.
Right. Yeah, I want to finish my camp in Poland. I still gonna have 2 sparring sessions. So I'm gonna leave on next Friday. Then I will just, get more speed, more fresh, and just get ready.
Thank you very much, girls. I appreciate it. And good, all the best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our next question comes from Stephen Morocco with USA Today.
Hey, question for Holly. Wondering what you thought of that UFC 193 promo with you as a kid, and wondering, how they did. Did they nail it?
Everything's kind of different. I get to say that there's people that are just, oh my gosh, that's the best promo ever. People that have been around film for a long time and they just really love it. For me, it's just stuff like that to me is only awesome if it's the victories. I mean, I'm just focusing on the fight. A lot of that stuff, I'll look back on it later and enjoy it, I guess. But right now, I'm just more eyes on the prize. I do the best I can to try and stay out of, dealing with a lot of social media and a lot of things like that. I probably should actually do better at it. I appreciate that they put so much into it, and I think that the response on it has been awesome. You know, a lot of people really, really loved it. So I think it's awesome that they did a promo like that. But like I said, all of that doesn't mean anything unless I do well. So I've just been focusing on the fight, and that's it.
Have you ever fought as an 8-1 underdog? I mean, you're assigned 11-1 in certain winning lines, but I'm wondering if that's ever happened to you before, and what that experience is like compared to coming in as a massive favorite.
The fact that I'm an underdog?
Yep.
I've been the underdog more than once, and that's fine with me. Every day in training, I'm up against, you know, great training partners. Every day is a test for me, so I don't mind being an underdog. It's I think the last time that I really felt coming in, I'd been knocked out cold by the French champion, and so for my years because I was beat her. And a lot of people thought I was crazy for doing that. And it was a huge thing that I took on, but I was able to get in there and avenge my loss and beat her. So yeah, there are times I've had to face, you know, opposition like that and have to believe in myself to get in there. And I've done it before, but those times are when the victory is even better. You know, the more that you go through for a fight and the more challenge that you're up against, the better the victory is.
And one more, if I could. There was a video several years ago of you training with John Jones at the gym. I'm wondering if you played that recently and if he's giving you any advice.
Yeah, you know, it's not like we'll shadow box a little bit and we'll kind of throw kicks and punches at each other. Obviously, he's not going to be, you know, sparring with me like he would with the big heavyweights. But we have the same coaches. We have the same team, and I love to hear his input because he's obviously been able to take what our coaches in this fight. So it works really well for me, and he's been great. Been a great help.
So how has he been helpful in terms of how to beat somebody like Ronda?
You know, there's been times where he might even just come to my mitt session and have some ideas on things that he feels works with my fighting style and just ideas that he has. He's got a good mind about fighting, and I always appreciate his advice.
Okay, thank you very much.
Our next question is Avril with Yahoo 7 Sports.
Good morning, everyone from Australia. Holly, obviously your strengths lie more in stand-up fighting, and Ronda has said that she's not afraid to exchange with you. How much have you worked on your jiu-jitsu and your wrestling, your grappling, and your takedown defense? Obviously, she's going to have to strike with you at some point, but everybody knows that there is that risk that she is so dangerous on the ground.
Of course, I've been working on it. I think that'd be a really dumb mistake to not. I've been working very hard on it. I've been working hard with my ground game, with judo game, with all of it. You know, it's a full package. I know she's not afraid to stand up. She obviously has 3 knockouts under her belt for a reason. She's a tough fighter. There's a reason why she's the most dominant champion out there. I'm very aware of it, and it'd be dumb for me to go into my training camp thinking that I wouldn't have to work on these things. So 100%, I've been working very hard on it.
Yes. What makes you think that, and this is not to say that I doubt you, but what makes you think you can succeed where others have failed in taking that title from her?
every style makes a difference. Every fight makes a difference, and I believe that I can do it. And I think that a lot of times some of these girls that get in there, I think they get in there with this, almost like they put her so high on up on a pedestal that they're not remembering that they're in there for a reason too. And I'm in there for a reason. There's a reason why I have this fight is because I have the capability and the ability to win. I believe in myself, and I train hard to succeed at it. And every like I said, every fight is different, and every style is different. And she hasn't been beat yet, but that doesn't mean that it can't happen.
Our next question will come from Spencer Kite with UFC.com.
This is a question for all three ladies. We'll start with Yanna, then go to Holly, and then go to Val. It wasn't even 3 years ago that Ronda and Liz Carmouche fought at UFC 157, the first female fight in the UFC. Now we have you four ladies headlining a UFC pay-per-view in a major stadium. How important is this moment for female athletes overall, and what does it mean to you to be a part of this moment?
No, it's great. It's going to be one of the best fights and moments for me in my fighting career, So I did almost 100 Muay Thai fights, but it's going to be the biggest fight in my life, you know what I mean? And I'm very happy. I'm very excited about. It's amazing, I'm happy that UFC trusting us in the female fighters, and we're gonna really put on show in Australia. And I'm very happy, excited, and I wish in the future we're gonna have more shows, maybe just with ladies in UFC.
Coming from where I come from, I've been there for a long time and looking what was going on with the female mixed martial arts, and I think it's unbelievable how we move in 2-3 years, and this is just something that I could have never imagined 5 years ago. Very exciting.
I think it's awesome. It's part of history. This hasn't ever happened before in boxing or MMA, to have two women headlining the co-main and main events. So awesome. I mean, we get to be part of history. There's really no other way to explain it. It's just it's an honor to be part of it.
Perfect. Thank you all. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Kaumudi Naitani with Sony 6.
Hi. Hi, Holly. My questions are for you. I'm calling from India. So my first question is, when the fight was announced, there was a lot of talk around whether the shot for the title had come in a little too early for you. And then the fight got pushed ahead by a couple of months. So what's been the major change in your preparation heading into this particular camp? And have you had the chance to have a full camp?
I have had a full camp. And when they moved the fight sooner, I was almost relieved. Doing a 4-month training camp is just too long. And if I would have known about the fight for 4 months, I wouldn't have gone 100% right away, but it still would have been on my mind. So I was fine with it. I know that it's a big challenge, and I know that it's soon, and I know that it's, I'm the underdog, all this stuff, but there's only big upsets in sports for a reason, is that somebody else came in believing in themselves and they're going to do it. And that's my plan. If I sat and listened to all the negative things that people are saying, then no, it would take its toll on me. But I'm excited to have this opportunity, and I want to make the most of it. I don't want to think, oh my gosh, it's too soon, because then mentally I wouldn't even be ready for it. As soon as they called, I just said, okay, let's do it. I want to be fully committed mentally, physically. I want to go in there and give it my all, 100%.
Great. My second question for you is that what Ronda is known for is her strength and her ability to grab her opponent, in a clinch situation and toss them to the ground. has there been an increased focus on the strength and conditioning aspect heading into this fight for you? And how do you plan on avoiding such a situation in your fight with her?
For this fight, I spent more time doing active training, not necessarily strength and conditioning. I feel like my strength and conditioning is something that I've always had as my, one of my strengths in fighting. And for this fight, needing a lot more time, doing groundwork and judo work and all that kind of stuff. I would rather put my time into that rather than just hard strength and conditioning, because really conditioning for a fight is just repping the same things you would do in a fight anyway. It creates muscle memory, and so I haven't done any more strength training for this fight, but I've definitely done more game planning things and more active training for this fight. And yes, we look at what she does well, and we want to pick those things apart, but we also want to capitalize on the things that I do well. So it's the offense-defense type thing all the time. I want to get better at the things I do great, and I want to get better at the things that is going to shut down her game plan. So, that's how it always is for me, offense and defense all the time to get in there. I don't want to be so focused on what she does that I don't do what I do best, but I want to be prepared for her. So we do both. We work on both.
Great. Just last, more like more like your response to this. In India, we've garnered a huge following for UFC, and there are a lot of people here who are really looking forward to your fight with Ronda. So, do you have any special message for them here?
I think it's awesome, and I appreciate it so much. I love to feel the support and the love from everywhere, and I think India is one of those places that I would always love to go. So I just want to show my love for everybody, and I'm going to put on a good show, and I'm glad that they'll all be watching and supporting, and thank you very much.
Good luck, ladies, all of you.
Thank you.
And is Ronda back by any chance?
No, this is Dave Schaller jumping in. Ronda's actually going to be unable to rejoin this call, so we are going to continue to move along here. And we're going to take. Go ahead.
Right, I'm done with my questions. Then.
Okay, I hope you have a good day. We're going to take our last two questions from Damon Martin from Fox Sports and Dave Dybert from Post Media News. Let's first go to Damon Martin. Damon, your line is now open.
Awesome. Thanks, guys, for taking time today. First question is for Holly. I know the question came up earlier about, Ronda landing cover of Ring Magazine. I'm kind of curious your reaction. You were a two-time, Ring Magazine Fighter of the Year. I know this is only the second time a woman has ever been on the cover of that, and obviously the first time ever for a mixed martial artist. Were you surprised? Were you maybe a little offended you didn't get that honor? I don't know. I'm just curious because you come from boxing.
For me, I'm proud of the fact that I was Ring Fighter of the Year. Ring Magazine's Fighter of the Year twice, and for me that was an accomplishment off of fighting and things that I've done. So I was proud of the awards that I got from that magazine. That's kind of like what they say the Bible of boxing. So I was proud of my awards through that. But Ronda's obviously done well with fighting, and for her to get a chance on it is fine with me. I have no jealousies towards anything like that. It's anybody who's doing something great for the sport, great. It doesn't. I don't lose any sleep over it.
One of the biggest things Ronda has said about, this fight or just fights in general is that not everyone is built to be a champion. That lifestyle, the scrutiny, the media, everything that goes along with it. I know, especially in your hometown in Albuquerque, you're a pretty big celebrity in your hometown, but obviously this is a much different feel. I mean, you got to win the fight first, but are you ready for that? Have you been kind of mentally prepared for, what happens after if you beat Ronda?
Yeah, I was. Here, yes, locally, Albuquerque is a big enough town that you have a lot of followers, and a small enough town that everybody feels like they're your neighbor. So here is definitely, everywhere I go, it's the constant talk about the fights, not just now, but it always has been. And it's great, and I'm fine with it. I almost feel like there's, even sometimes a little bit more of a personal thing that people have. You know, they want to walk up and hug you, and they feel like they know you, and there's a lot of pressure from that. It's not like I haven't been surrounded by it. I know that it's on a bigger scale now. I know that Ronda deals with that wherever she goes, whether it's in her hometown or anywhere else. And some of my friends the other day I was having lunch with were actually laughing. They're like, "Oh, you're like the last person that wants all that attention, but it's coming." And like, they're like, "Oh, with victory, that's what happens, and that's what you're going for." So, you know, just it's fine. It's truth. It's, you know what? If I feel like people are constantly on me, that's fine. That means I've gotten somewhere. I'll be able to deal with it. Trust me. Because I'll just keep reminding myself the reason why is because victory, you know. So I'm okay with it, and but I just focus on the fight, you know. That's just on the side.
Yeah. And last question for you, Holly. You know, obviously Ronda's fought a lot of great fighters, so I don't want to sound like I'm disparaging any of the other fight camps, but you come from a very, very famous fight camp, obviously Greg Jackson, Mike Winklejohn. You have champions, you know, left and right on every side of the gym. John Jones, obviously Carlos Condit, a former champion. I mean, does that help you in your preparation when you're getting ready for a fight of this magnitude, that you are not only, you know, you're surrounded by champions, but you also have a championship-winning coaching staff? I mean, these are people that have led fighters to multiple UFC championships. I mean, does that help? Maybe that's something that we haven't seen Ronda face before, somebody with such a strong team behind them.
Oh, absolutely. Having such great coaching and having such great teammates and having that, you know, sensing that sense of accomplishment and that champion mindset is huge. I love it. I'm blessed to have it. These guys are champions because they perform, but they have the help of the best coaching in the world, and so it all goes together. You can have all the best coaching in the world, but if you don't have a fighter that wants to get in there and make something of it, it's the missing link. And if you have a fighter that wants it but doesn't have the right guidance, then there's the missing link. But we have it all at the gym. The best coaches, the best training partners, and the best advice. And it has been a lot. Sometimes it's overwhelming because they're all actually, you know, they're watching sparring, and our gym is very busy. You know, we'll have between 20 and 60 people in there at one time, and you know, you have these champions watching over you sparring, and it's like, oh man, you know, like it's like a test all the time, you know. But I like it because it makes it real. It makes the fight real, and I like that they're watching. It makes me want to perform right, and I love having the coaches really over me because I want to do what they're teaching me. I want to perform. So it's awesome being part of it.
Awesome. Thanks, Holly. Best of luck.
Thank you.
Our last question comes from Dave Deber with Post Media News.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for the time. I apologize if this has been asked. I had to jump on late, but I'm wondering if each of you could share maybe a memory of the smallest venue that you've competed in, the smallest crowd that you fought in front of, maybe the little shadiest venue, anything like that, just as a bit of a comparison to what you'll be experiencing next month. Maybe Val, I'll start with you, maybe, and then everyone else.
You mean the smallest event or the biggest event?
Smallest.
The smallest.
Yeah,
well,
like either smallest crowd, smallest arena.
It has to be in my amateur fight because I gotta say, I think I've been lucky so far. Four of my fight was at the Bell Center, which is a pretty big place, and I mean I've been fighting on a pretty big show. Maybe one that I did in ex-MMA was in a school, so probably not more than 3,000 people, but that's probably the smallest of our fight pro. But as amateur, I was fighting in sometimes just small rooms or school, gym and stuff like that. But yeah, as a pro, I fight on a pretty big show.
Any particular memories that you can kind of look back on now? Maybe laugh a little bit about it. Just at how silly it seems looking now? I mean, you mentioned fighting at a school. That any particular.
It's still like that. Sometimes you go for a fight as amateur. You warm up. You almost warm up in the closet. If you don't want to see your opponent, what you do, how you warm up, you're gonna hide in a very small space. You have no place to move. But that's part of growing up in the sport. You start in a small place and you fight in a bigger place later. I think we all been through this.
All right, Holly, Joanna.
Yeah, I 2 years ago. I fought in Warsaw in a shopping mall. It was a cutting place, The cage was so small. It was like, I don't know, 1/4 of a UFC cage. And there were like maybe around 300 people. So it was like more business meeting than a real show, But I had come-even fight. It was good fight with I forgot her name. It was some Spanish girl. But after that fight, I had fight with a UFC former fighter Rosie Sexton, and then I got signed by UFC. So I had really good memories with this small show. But it was pretty funny, Like I said, it was more business meeting than big MMA show.
Nice. All right, Holly.
I've been training with Mike Winklejohn for a long time, and my first fight being I was 18, an amateur, about a year after I turned, after a year of fighting, I had an amateur fight. He threw a fight card at our gym, and it was in one room, maybe 100 people were there, in fold-out chairs that he rented from a company, and in the other room, every single fighter was in the same room warming up, so you're warming up next to your opponent. There's like a lot of memories with that. And probably my other most memory of a small crowd was Cripple Creek, Colorado. A lot of people have never even heard of it. It's just a little off I-25 from like Colorado Springs, and it's like a little mining or gambling town kind of up on a mountain. And it was a small show, but really fun. I mean, it was literally up in the mountains in this little casino that's, just about as big as someone's house, really, but it's a casino. And it was a really fun little town.
Is that one of those ones where you can hear, everything going on in the crowd? You hear people talking in the third row or anything like that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's echoing in there because it's just a room with linoleum on the ground, and, it's kind of one of the, it's like high ceiling, but, not a ton of people in there. And I remember needing a mouthpiece because I forgot mine, and so I had to drive into town, and my car broke down because I was driving an old Taurus, and had to hitchhike back up to the venue to get there in time for my fight. And I didn't even have my mouthpiece molded in my mouth. It's just one of those times, but I won the fight in the first round, and it wound up being a great night, but a very memorable one.
And ladies and gentlemen, that is all the time we have today for questions. Carolyn, I'll turn the call back over to you.
Thanks very much. We'd like to thank everybody for joining us for today's call. UFC 193 Fight Week activities will begin on Thursday, November 12th with open workouts at Federation Square, followed by Ultimate Media Day on Friday, November 13th at H.E.A.T Stadium. And everybody have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you down under in Melbourne in a couple of weeks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude today's conference, and we thank you for your participation.